Hi everyone, welcome to the new video. So today I am sharing some Kubernetes scenario based questions. Before starting this video, I would like to mention that these questions are shared by Sushil Narayan. Thank you so much for sharing these questions, and these questions are more relevant for experienced people, but you can always go through the concept, and these questions are really helpful in determining your concepts of cloud Kubernetes. So thank you so much again, Sushil, for sharing these questions. So without further ado, let's start our video. So as you can see, there are 10 scenario questions, and I'm thinking to discuss one or two questions at a time, uh, because as these questions are little brief and they are containing multiple question in the same, so we'll discuss it deeply, but I will give all the question in description box so that you can prepare yourself, and if you want to put your answers in the comment section, you can do that as well. But meanwhile, we'll discuss the questions answers too, and you can check and refine your questions. If something I'm missing, please add on. So first question is, it's about the Kubernetes storage migration. It means that it is related to database migration. So you're working as a DevOps engineer in a fintech company running a payment application on Amazon EKS, and the application consists of 60 microservices distributed across multiple namespaces. So one of the critical services, PostgreSQL StatefulSets, that store customer transaction data on Amazon EBS GP2 volumes through persistent volume claims. So PVC is there. So during peak traffic, the database experienced storage bottlenecks, and AWS recommends moving from GP2 to GP3 volumes for better performance and lower cost. So the application processed nearly 10 million transactions daily, and the business allow maximum downtime of only 2 minutes. So you're responsible for planning and executing the migration. So your complete migration strategy, which AWS services would you use? How would you copy the data? How would you keep the old and new volumes synchronized? And how would you switch the application to the new volume? What validation steps you perform before deleting the old storage? And if the migration fails after the cutover, what rollback strategy would you follow? So basically, our goal is to migrate EBS GP2 to GP3. So which AWS services I will use? It will be, of course, the AWS EBS. We will be taking the backup or the snapshot of the EBS, which is currently there, and then we will be creating a pod, temporary migration pod, so that you can we will be copying the data, okay, from one EBS to another the volume, and then we will be switching the we will be switching it by changing the mount point from the EBS GP2 to EBS GP3, which is created newly. So before deleting the old storage, we'll make sure that the pods are up and running, everything is fine, there is no data loss, everything is fine, then only we'll delete the old storage. Else we'll not delete the old storage, we will rollback strategy is to attach the old EBS again. So after this downtime which is given of 2 minutes, just to restart the PostgreSQL database. So once we attach or the new EBS, to get it sync, we have to restart the PostgreSQL service. So first step will be, taking the backup and the taking the backup or the snapshot. So if suppose if the data gets corrupt or something happens, we have the snapshot. Second thing will be to creating a new EBS of GP3, and then we'll create a temporary pod, to copy the data, from one EBS volume to another. So whatever existing data we have to copy first. So first, this once the data is copied, we have to also make sure that whatever new data is coming, that is also not lost. So sync mechanism will be used. We have to run rsync, before stopping the old one or stopping the old PostgreSQL. We have to make sure that we run rsync to get the old data, to get the new data also added in the copied one. Once the rsync is successful, so before rsync basically adds the new data. Okay, it will not copy. That's why rsync we are using. Also, what we can do, one thing is getting the counts of the table. Okay, the table size and everything, once before stopping the PostgreSQL. So before doing the cutover, or you can say doing the migration, we will have the table size with us, so that if anything, if we can match it in validation. So getting the database, we can already write the automation scripts for it. Then after that, we will finally do the cutover means we'll do the change of, we'll mount in PVC, we'll get a new volume mounted, and then we'll restart it restart the PostgreSQL, or to so that new volume is getting picked up. So validation will be done that if the pods are all coming up, if the new data is, there is no corrupt data, and new data is getting updated successfully, then only, and the database size can be compared, everything, there is no much data loss. After that only, we can say that it got completed. And once that is done, then only we can say it is completed. The rollback strategy will be same if the things are not, because we have only 2 minutes downtime. If we see that this is not working properly, we can use AWS CloudWatch also. So the services CloudWatch and IAM for securing the EBS, and AWS EKS and EBS. So all these things we will be using, and we'll do the rollback strategy. Okay. Next question is about the EKS cluster upgrade. Your organization runs more than 200 microservices on Azure Kubernetes Service, and the cluster is currently running Kubernetes version 1.27, which will reach end of support in 2 weeks. So Microsoft recommends upgrading to version 1.30. So workload include both stateless, deployment, statefulset using Azure Managed Disks. The cluster is integrated with Azure Application Gateway, Azure Monitor, Azure Key Vault, and Azure Container Registry. Business leadership requires zero customer impact during the upgrade, and describe your end-to-end upgrade plan. Explain how would you verify compatibility, upgrade node pools, validate workloads, monitor the upgrade, handle stateful set, and perform rollback if one of the application become unstable after the upgrade. So the best question answer to this is, first we need to read the release note of 1.30, that what all needs to be upgraded, what all is what all services needs to be upgraded, what all plugins needs to be upgraded. We need to study everything. We need to see if after upgrading what is compatible with our application, what is not, and everything has to be tested on dev environment first. So we need to test the upgrade, the control plane upgrade, the node pools upgrade, and all the plugins upgrade, everything in the dev environment. And also after that, we should follow blue green deployment strategy, that old cluster is already running with a older version, and it is on version 1.27, and the green cluster is running, so label is green. We'll switch the traffic to the new one, and if we see that there is an issue, we'll again switch the traffic back to blue one. So blue green deployment strategy will be used. and this is how the rollback will be performed if the issue is there. And to monitor the upgrades, everything, we will be planning. So the release note, the commands and everything, we will have backups for everything of all the data. And then only we'll once it is tested in dev environment, it is running, then only we'll plan for prod. And we have to inform the team, we have to get when the minimum work is done on that cluster, then only we'll have to plan for the upgrade. So this is the uh, the high level. That's all for today's video. I hope it's helpful. Please let me know views in the comment section. Till then, take care. Bye.